Hey there, this is Modesta Mahigan going from Purpose and License. Welcome, YouTube. I'm getting Facebook and Instagram set up. Let me get my Facebook going. Let me get my people. Wow. Oh, I'm so excited about today. Smiling. Nice. So welcome to Purpose and Excellence Weekend Live. We're talking about the power of next today. So YouTube is on, Facebook is on, Instagram is going live in a couple of seconds. Perfect. Go live. Let me see how we're doing. How we're doing with lighting. Everybody, can you see me? So very grateful for you to make the time to meet with me on today's Weekend Live. My name is Modesta Mahigan Buguni. This is Purpose and Excellence. I am on a quest to equip 100 million African leaders, purpose-driven servant leaders that want to drive market results with excellence. Why? Because I know for a fact that Africa is going to be the leading economic region in the world, and I want to play my part by equipping the men and women that will get into strategic positions of leadership and influence to get it there. So if you have never heard of Purpose and Excellence, welcome to this platform. We are on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram. Our website is purposeandexcellence.africa, and Purpose and Excellence is an online coaching platform, whether it is individual or group. I see somebody already saying hi to me. Hi, Dina, welcome. And this has been my passion for decades. Purpose and Excellence is going on to 3 years old. But what I have been doing and what I've invested in equipping my brothers and sisters on the continent and in the diaspora for global competitiveness, I've been doing this, my entire adult life. So let's just get right into today's topic. We're talking about the power of next. So if you haven't already, please do share this broadcast wherever you're watching me from, whether it's Instagram. So when it's Instagram, I'm looking it up because I got my phone up there. I've got this laptop on YouTube and this one on Facebook. But hey, look, we're making it happen. Please share this on your network. Share this with a significant friend. Share this with somebody else who wants to know how to straddle the now, how to manage the now, how to steward the now, so that they can get into their not just next level, but make the next level their best level yet. And so if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you'll find us on LinkedIn, like I said before, and also Twitter. And you can go to purposeandexcellence.africa. By the way, people don't know this. I have a lot of resources. I have hundreds of resources for you. So whether they're assessments or articles and tips and tools and strategies that you need to succeed in work and life, go to purposeandexcellence.africa. So today's topic, what inspired today's session? Listen, I've started printing things so that I can keep to time and I can keep to topic. What inspired today's session? Well, I was just really thinking through how thinking of what is next gets so unnerving. Thinking that this job will end or this business deal, if it doesn't come through, what does that mean for me and my people? Or, I know this contract is only for 2 years, so what comes next? Or whatever else could happen. Now, some things you may already know before and anticipate. Some things that catch you off guard and you're thinking, oh my goodness, how do I recover? And so whether it is something that you can foresee and plan or something that catches you off guard, I want to say hi to somebody. Hi, Gloria, welcome. I'd like you to know and apply the power of next. Now, before we go into next, I want to talk about the present. We're going to talk about how powerful it is to think, to prepare, to plan, and to forge on with what is next. But the only way you can really do that effectively, welcome Brighton Bruno. I'm seeing somebody on YouTube, but I do not know who's there unless they type out something. Miranda, welcome. Benir, welcome. Unless you're first present, unless you're first intentional, unless you first give your all to the now, you may not be so effective in the next. So for instance, you're saying, Modesta, I know this job isn't going to last that long. And so even as I am working, I'm already scouting the scene, looking at what is next. Your next, listen to me good, and this sounds counterintuitive, it sounds counterproductive, but your next will be as good as your present has been. And so whatever, if it is a next job, next business, entirely business, maybe this business didn't work out, or maybe you're starting a new one, next client, whatever next really can only succeed at, depending on how well you're done now. Now, I don't mean, let's say your business fell apart. Hi, Violet, welcome. That your business fell apart. And so you say, well, it didn't work out. So that's why I'm doing next. No, but what I mean is, did you learn the lessons of now that you can apply next? Did you harness, your networks? Did you leverage the people around you, the resources around you now, so that you can tap into them next? And so the first rule of harnessing the power of next is actually being present now. Doing your role. So what did I say? Be present, focusing and giving your role to the success of what is before you to do now. And so, I want to give you examples where, and listen, my people. When I give you my examples, it's not being braggadocious, like, look at me, I've lived, I've done a thing or two. It's really to say, I have been through similar challenges, whether in employment or entrepreneurship, or, as a consultant and as a influencer. And so when I go back into my life and I'm tapping into it to share with you, it's not to say, been and arrived, is to say, I can relate. So I wanted to give you an example of, working and knowing very well this contract is soon going to end. And how do you stay present? And, it was a very engaging consultancy. How do you stay present even when you know that when this thing ends, I actually do not know what is next? But what I have, Agape, welcome. What I have decided to do, actually, I like what you just did. Could everybody tell me the city and country they're tuning in from? Because I get people from all kinds of places, not just where I come from in Tanzania, but I often have people tuning in from across the world. So yes, please, let's do that every time. Agape, you just inspired something great. Let's do that every time. Please let us know the city or town and country that you're tuning in from. That'll be wonderful. So what do I do? What do I do? Do I even bother going all the way through? Do I start scouting out other opportunities? And one of the reasons why I'm sharing this particular consultancy example is because the end of the consultancy also marked the end of my tenure in that country, the end of my visa. And so you're thinking, I need another job that can have, a visa sponsor so that I can stay here. So do you quit and go looking, or do you give your all, hoping that your present and the investment you made in the present could actually be the very key to the door to your next? And so number one, be present in what you have to do, even if you know there will have to be a next. Even if the next snuck up on you, life snuck up on you, and all of a sudden things are going topsy-turvy or things are not going as planned, and you're thinking, I need to jump ship real quick and do something that is productive for me, that is constructive for me, you still need to do well where you are. As a matter of fact, one of the other points that I have is do not leave any loose ends. Whatever you have before you to do so that you can do next very well, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Do not leave things any which way simply because your mind has already transitioned to the next. You do the best that you can. You prepare things. I remember there's a job, this is, oh my goodness, 15, 16 years ago that I had left. And the person who actually took it on after me, I think a year or two later, I'm not sure, she said, because she knew me actually, she knew me from a previous life. She said, I could hear you speaking through the notes that you left. I could see the order of what that department was supposed to do because I was a manager in that role from the way you had arranged things. Now, let me tell you, I left that job. I was doing very well. I top performer of the year at that place, but I wasn't okay with management. Imagine you're leaving a toxic manager, you're leaving a toxic environment, but you're giving your all as if you are the happiest person and you're transitioning well. And that is exactly what I did. She came to tell me later, I could hear you speak in the notes that you left. In the files and everything, things were ordered. I just walked in, even without handover, and I was able to see what is what and move along with it. And so why do I say you need to give your all now to prepare you for next? Because listen, many a times our next depends on the referrals from where we are now. Many a times our next depends on the skills that you have applied now. Many of us, our next sometimes will probe and ask how you left the now to see whether you would be a good enough manager, steward. And when I say manager, I don't mean the title. I mean a person who can handle the resources and the people under their leadership to be able to apply them appropriately. And so if you stay present and you excel and you do not leave any loose ends, you're giving your all to the now, it really adds to the power of your next. But why exactly did I call today's Weekend Live Next? This is why. Many a times what we are in the present is so precious to us. It is, we sometimes almost want to allow it to define us. We want to allow it to mark us. And so when we think that we have to move to the next, we often think of next with trepidation. All I know is now, the people that have stayed in the same company and in the same role for a long time, all I know is now. For the people who are the founders of a business and this is what they've started and this is what has made their name and this is their bread and butter, to think of next many a times, we do it with trepidation. We like status quo at times, even if status quo isn't working. We like the familiar, we like the comfortable, and so the thought of next often gets us jittery. But listen, what I want you to do with next is similar to what I'd like you to think about when it comes to any change or failure. Factor in that there will always be a next. You will always be required to move on and move up. Actually, that's the only way you move up in life, when you move on from what you're doing now. I'm not necessarily advocating for people to just start new businesses for the sake of trying to see what is next or taking on new jobs. But what I'm saying is, even in the job you're in, you will get additional responsibility, additional complexity in your work. You know, you will maybe have more people that you're overseeing, maybe a greater budget that you're managing. There is a next. Even if it's at the same place, there is always a move on so that you can move up. If it is a business, you might want to, maybe your target market comes back to you and says, oh, if you added this element to what you're doing, this would be great. Whether it is a service delivery or an additional service or whatever it is, or a product, you will find that even if you continue where you are, to move up, there will be a moving on into the next. And so factor in what we know for sure. If anything be living and breathing, it is changing. So just as organically human beings and creation, natural creation will, even so with organizations and your career and your business and the influence that you want to have, it will not remain stagnant. It has to be dynamic. It has to be living. There always has to be a next. So already prepare your mindset. You guys know I'm always going on about mindset. Tell your mind, I cannot help but prepare for next. Like it or not, next is coming. I don't know if you guys ever watched or followed, oh my goodness, I'm going into deep waters here, but I'm going to mention it anyway. So The Hobbit. There's a movie called The Hobbit. Great talk indeed. Oh, Agabe, thank you. And these people said, you know what? We don't want trouble. The Hobbits are little people. It's just a whole legend, mystical movie, long story. For the Christians out there, you might start going off on a tangent. Do not mind. So these hobbits, they say, we don't want trouble. And trouble, we're not going after trouble, and trouble shouldn't follow us. And Gandalf, this wizard, said, tell that to trouble. There are times you do not want trouble, but trouble will find you. There are times you do not want change, but change will look for you. There are times you do not want to leave, but you will be ousted out and have to go. And so factor into your mind, if I'm living, if I'm breathing and I'm not stagnant, there will be change. Sometimes forward, sometimes backward. But the only way that I can make sure that I do not get destabilized, that I stay solid and secure, is by harnessing the power of next, telling myself beforehand that I know there will be a next. So you guys are probably hearing my kids in the background. Forgive me for that. I did tell them to keep quiet, but hey, it's a Saturday, so they will do what they do. Agape says, I have something to say. I was thinking of going for data analysis from being a researcher. Can it be my next, since I'm seeing a trend of data being new? I can't see the rest of that. Maybe it's my screen. Good question. So I have a question here. I have something to ask, please. I was thinking to go for data analyst from being a researcher. Can it be my next? Since I see a trend of data being a new oil for the future. I like questions like this. So listen, any move you make, girls, I can hear you, please keep it down. Any move, sorry, I'm a mother and I'm at home at the moment, and so you will be hearing me turning to my kids. Any move you make is not really about what is happening in the trends in the future, although, of course, you cannot ignore trends. You cannot ignore what's happening outside because it will ultimately, affect you. But this is what you ask yourself, Agape Ishabaki. This is what you ask yourself. Who am I? Where do I want to go? What are the kinds of things that I want to do? What kind of impact do I want to have? What kind of challenges, problems do I want to solve? And then you might find, Jude, I can hear you. Jude. You might find that what you want to ultimately do, the difference that your presence in this sector, in this industry that you want to bring will require you, for instance, here, to have, the skills of the data analyst. And so it isn't even a matter of just the immediate next. It's a matter of, if I want to do this thing effectively at all, it makes sense that I, get into data. And so one of the things that you can do, for instance, because we have all kinds of things. We have Udemy, we have Coursera, we have all kinds of people that have online courses, like proper university courses from Ivy League universities. You can start taking these courses. You get them online, and they actually also offer certification. And so you do that. That's in my eye. You do that and you start building up the skills until an opportunity arises for you to move more and more into, data analysis. And so before you make it a career, because you're in research at the moment, start building up the skills, in data analysis and data mining, and being able to make sense, from infographics, etc., and start applying that even in your job now, and looking out for opportunities for how you can actually formally move into the next. So absolutely, not just because it is a new trend and everybody's doing it, but when you reflect on who you are and what it is that you want to ultimately do and the difference you want to bring, you might realize, my research skills actually, or my contribution as a researcher is going to be all that richer if I have data analysis skill set. And of course, as you move on, you might even find a narrow niche that you want to get yourself into in terms of your career. And then you might say, you know what? I will now go into data analysis, and actually this is my new career field, and I will bring my research skills, because you did very well as a researcher. You will bring your research skills, which will be beautiful. You know the research, and you really know how to, how to gather, how to mine, and how to present data, for decision making. Beautiful. So yeah, go for it and start that way, if that makes sense to you. Let me see, who else do I have here? I have Magdalena's coming. I am the good luck. Oh, okay, hello. Giselle, you're back here. Hey, Lulu, welcome. Who do we have here? Mioma came through, and Brian Bruno and Vale Mujage, thank you. And so, power of next. Number one, I said be present. Number two, know that there is a next. Factor in, put that in your mind, there will be a next. Whether you are leaving an organization or not, whether you're switching careers or not, because you live and breathe, because the outside world lives and breathes, because business is not an island unto itself, it's dynamic, it's interacting with the market, interacting with the economy, interacting with global trends, there will always be a next. You cannot sit comfortably, and so factor next in the first place. So then what do you do after there is a next, and then this is key to your success? I saw a couple of angry emojis. I'm sure that's not what you meant, my people. What could have made you angry about? Awesome indeed. Thanks for clarity. We'll work upon it. Great, Agape. I'm grateful that works for you. Can I get your book, Sister Modesta Magdalena asked? Absolutely. You can go to Amazon. I've got several books on Amazon, and I'm about to release another one. You'll see that coming up. So if you go to Amazon and you go to Modesta Mahiga Buguni, you will see, I'm not sure which book you mean. Is it 32 Steps to Career Success in a Life of Significance? Or Start Now with Purpose and a Master Plan? Or is it the Purpose and Excellence series? I've got 5 of those out. And the African Entrepreneurs Checklist is coming up. I went back to edit that a little bit before I released it in the market. That's coming out too. And all of those you'll find under Modesta Mahiga Buguni on Amazon. And probably if you put Modesta Mahiga or Buguni, one of those will get you to my author page, and you can see the collection of the books that I've written. Thank you so much for your support, Magdalena. Asante sana. I'm not sure if you speak Swahili, but Asante sana means thank you very much in Swahili. So now, how do you prepare for next? And I think, Agape, I just mentioned this a little bit with you. Decide where it is you want to go. You will find, and I know the people who've had maybe strategy, complementary strategy calls with me, or people who've been on any of my programs, whether it was the master plan class or it's the executive coaching program, or anybody who has ever worked with me in any capacity. Many a times they want me to address the issue at hand, and I go back and I ask, so who are you and where do you want to go in life? And I think people are thinking, Modesta, it's so nice that you want to get us all to be purpose-driven in life, but can you just answer this question? I actually can't without putting it in context. You are a person with dreams, with desires, with goals, with a vision, even if you haven't written them down, even if you haven't gone through a process, but there's some things that are tugging at your heart that you want to address, you want to do something about. Even if it's for your family, let's start there. There are things that you wish, even if it's for your parents, that you wish you could do, that you would do that one day, if it's for your content, whatever it is. So I always want to ask you, who are you and where do you want to go in life? And then from there, we can start addressing this issue that your next depends on what you ultimately want. The fact that I have to move from now, whatever that movement is, whether it's literally moving organizations or it's moving positions or it's moving, it could be moving continents, I don't know. Some of us had to up and leave. What you know for sure is I am leaving the now, whether it was planned or it was sudden. But what is next is a great opportunity, and there is a power in next. Because if, for instance, you do not know what is next, you now have the opportunity to plan the next depending on your ultimate. I don't know if you heard that. Plan your next move based on your ultimate move. Oh my goodness, is this thing not plugged in? Because then it's going to say goodbye real quick. Ha 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 ha. 1 second. I have a feeling. Oh, it is plugged in. Oh, my husband helped me out. I was worried. I'm thinking, oh no, this thing's gonna go off. Okay. Forgive me for that little bit of panic, right? So your next depends on your ultimate. If you're a person who knows I have certain desires, I have certain aspirations, I have certain goals, even if I haven't written them down, I haven't really thought them through. But there's certain places that I want to go. I want to go in my career. I want to go in my business. I want to go in wealth. Guys, I talk about wealth. Let's just be very free and talk about wealth. We actually do, well, because money moves things. Okay, money, it facilitates a lot of things, and so it is okay to actually mention that we also aspire for wealth and health and well-being, and so if you have these things moving and brewing in you, you say, okay, next is an opportunity. Whereas before I was just moving along with the flow, I now have an opportunity to decide what is next for me, depending on where I ultimately want to go. Because where you ultimately want to go will depend on all the steps that you're taking towards it now. It is your daily decisions. It is your lifelong transitions and how well you manage them that lead you to the destiny that you want, that lead you to reach your goals and your vision and to fulfill your purpose. And so the power of next is that, especially when you do not even know what is next, you get a chance to craft out. You get a chance to plan and to direct what you want to be next. But even if you do know what is next, you know the job that you're going to take on next, you know the client that you're going to work with next, you know the business you're going to go into next, you can still decide the terms on which you're doing next. You can decide your attitude towards next. You can decide the work that you want to do next. You can decide that depending on your strengths, depending on your team's capability, depending on your experience. You can choose what you want to earn next. You have a choice. The beauty of next is that it gives you an opportunity, almost a reset button to say, oh, so what do I want out of life? Because many times when we're just moving and the things that we're doing now, we're just moving in it, we're managing, this is what we signed up for and so we're doing it. But you can actually choose what's next. Even if next is the next performance appraisal, even if next is the next bonus discussion, that is still a next for you. You can still choose what you want. You don't just have to be taken with the flow. And so decide where you're going and make now, the time you're in now, prepare you for what is next. So you use now to brainstorm. You use now to ask for advice. You use now to get coached. You use now to read up. You use now, like I was speaking to Agape Shabaki here, you use now to do the courses. You use now to plan out. I was speaking to one of my executive clients this week, and some of her aspirations really require her to be at another level financially. And so I said, okay, so that we do not demystify this, Giselle, I see your question and I'll get to you in a second. So that we do not so that we can actually demystify and give it a name and give it an amount. What do you want out of your life and out of your career? How much would you have to earn to be able to get that? She said, well, I actually haven't thought about it. I said, you need to think about it. So where you want to live, you need to think about what it'll cost you to live there. Where you want your children to go to school, you have to think about what that costs. Everything that you want for your next, think it through. So what we're going to do when we meet next week, because we meet weekly with the executive coaching clients, is we were going to go through a budget. We're going to go through some of the things that she wants in her life and in her career and look at what it'll cost. The budget to get that life will cost her. And then we'll come back and say, okay, so what does that then mean? What are you earning from your job? Are you going to quit and take another job? Are you going to do something else on the side? Because if this is where you want to go, and she had chosen in a certain number of years' time, tracing back, well, looks like this is what you will have to earn to make that a reality. And that factors in saving and investing, etc. And so use the now. And I think Giselle's question, does next mean starting now? Giselle, yes. So whatever is next for you, you cannot just, hey, next, I've arrived. You have to do some things to prepare you to get there. Even when you feel like life has just happened to me and I have absolutely no control of what's happening right now, that is not true. You have greater control than you think. First, like I said, mindset. Factor in, there will always be a next. Expected or unexpected, there will be a next. Second thing, what is before me? What is within my control? So my attitude is within my control. The fact that I can forgive, the fact that I can let go, the fact that I can strategize. Oh, I just love strategizing. The fact that I can strategize, the fact that I can look at, so what do I have to work with? What are the resources before me? Okay, maybe they're scanned, maybe they're not what you would have ideally liked to have, but this is what's before me now. So what do I do? What can I do with these resources? You think that through, and you're able now to prepare for next. But the power of next is the fact that I know life always moves. There will always be a next. This actually also means when you have setbacks, you know it's not the end of the road. You know it's not the end of your story. You know it's not the end of the game. There is always the next. For as long as there is breath in you, even if you're lying in a hospital bed, there is always a next. And as a matter of fact, you will hear this said, whether you live or you die, actually depends on your mindset and your attitude about what is next. So some people will go through something and say, that's it, I am done, that was my career. gone. That's it, I am done. That was my marriage gone. That's it, I am done. That was my health. That's it, I am done. That was my business. I borrowed from everybody and I put everything in it, gone. And somebody else will say, well, I guess this transition gives me breathing room and now I can strategize for what is next. Use the time between now and next to equip you to deliver well right now, so you leave no loose ends, to direct yourself to what you want to do next, and I say you're in greater control than you think of what is next, to grow into your next. I often say this to people that want promotion, that want greater responsibility, that want, maybe to manage more people, etc. You're not going to get that opportunity simply because the time has come and here I am, I present myself. You're going to get that opportunity because you can prove in the now you have what it takes for the next. So yes, you're preparing now for the next. You grow yourself. We're just talking to Agape right now. You grow yourself now so that you can fit into the next. You plan now so that you can execute in the next. You budget now, so saving, investing is part of the preparation for next. You have goals, you have aspirations. How are you going to get there? You got to plan. You're going to, set goals and you're going to monitor them and you're going to, tweak them and improve on them. And so use the time between now and next to equip you to deliver, direct, grow. Anticipate what is coming next as far as you can. I honestly pray and ask the Holy Spirit to show me what's coming next, and He does. And so I guess that's my little cheat right there. I can ask Jesus, and Jesus actually shows me what's coming next. So I would recommend Jesus, guys. I truly, but I'm not here preaching. Prepare now for next and perform such that there is no question you are the person people want for the next level. There is no question that you are capable, that you not only promise to do the things that are required at the next level, but you actually have already done, and you can cite several examples how you have successfully done in the competencies, the skills, the aptitude, the level at which is required for next. This is why I started off by saying you don't just want to work to your next level, you want to make it your best level yet. And the other thing is commit to keep moving on and to keep moving up. The power of next is that I am alive, I am dynamic, I am resilient, I am resolved, I am growing, I am developing, I am getting more influential, I'm having more impact, I'm building greater wealth. The power of next is that I'm not just doing the next incremental move, the next obvious move. I am going to continuously grow, continuously reinvent myself, continuously rebrand, continuously come up with something new, continuously be relevant. Agape said, there are trends that I'm seeing. This looks like the next oil. I feel like I want to mine this data, world. Should I move from researcher to a data analyst? And you might say, what are the trends around me? What are the needs of the people? What are some ways I can actually reach people now that we've never had in history? Let me leverage those. And so, again, may I use my example, not to be braggadocious, but just to say the power of next. Okay, so I was talking to people one-on-one. And then there was a point where I was employed to support people. Then I realized that people that were coming to where I was employed, video was paused, somebody called in, one of these devices is a phone, sorry, Instagram. And so, went from speaking to people to being employed to support people, to realizing the people that were coming to this organization actually needed a lot more support before they arrived. And so I went from serving one organization to supplementing the educational system and the skill sets in the marketplace through media and through going to schools. And then another point, I started, my own businesses, and I'm now not just working with one organization. As a consultant, you get to work with hundreds of organizations. And then I wrote, because people can reach books. Somebody just asked for it, but I think it was Magdalena. I asked for one of my books. I don't know which one of the books, but all my books are on Amazon. And so I wrote books, and they were in bookstores in my country, Tanzania, but they're now on Amazon for anybody that wants to get them anywhere in the world. And then, I've been coaching now. I'm in a situation where I work from home. Even when I consulted with the World Bank Group, I work from home. I have kids, and so I am flexible. I am able again to support people. I coach, and I do it for a fee. This is what I'm doing with my career at the moment. But I also am positioning to influence policy, to influence the business environment and the regulatory environment that builds the capacity of Africans for global competitiveness. And then recently people said, oh, I really do enjoy talking to you. I mean, even when we're doing our coaching, that hour or those 2 hours, so it depends on what it is I'm doing with them, it's not enough. Do you have a podcast? Like, we cannot wait till the weekend when you come on live. Do you have a podcast? I've had 7 people talking to me about podcasts. So guess what? I'm starting a podcast. Now, all of this is not to brag. All of this is to say there will always be a next. Commit to always moving on and moving up. Commit to always being relevant. Commit to always reaching the people. Now that you know your target audience, reaching them the best way that you can. And at the same time, let me tell you something about next, or even the now. You're one person with 24 hours. And many of us have family responsibilities. And if I'm talking to women, and most of the people that do follow are women, like it or not, many times the child rearing and you know, taking care of the house falls on us. And so what does that then mean? You will have to find ways, put a system around you, find ways of being available, of having impact, of being able to influence, of being able to help, of being able to lift people up that will not consume you. And so you will always have opportunities to move on and move up. Giselle says, is it realistic to build a bridge between family needs, financial needs, and what's next? Well, absolutely. I'm not sure what that question means. What do you mean? Does next mean ultimate commitment? No, next means immediate next. Your life will go through, Giselle, a series of nexts. There will always be a next, and that's what I'm saying. Factor that in and commit to the fact that there will always be moving up and moving up. Whether expected, unexpected, whether amicably or in disagreement, whether, you know, together with somebody or alone, there will always be a next. Factor in next, prepare for next, and do the best that you can. Close it up well, move on to the next thing. There is always next. And that is the power and the opportunity of next. Giselle, I want you to please qualify. I didn't quite understand your question. Is it realistic to build a bridge between family needs, financial needs, and what's next? I want to know what you mean by that. Hi, Grace. Welcome. Grace, I'm so very grateful for how, you know, you keep following and you keep sharing and you keep present. I know we did the Mastermind class ages ago, but Grace is one of those people that's always been supported, always been present. So glad to see you on today's Weekend Live on the Power of Next. Giselle, I'm waiting for that question. I'm waiting for the clarity on that question. The number 6, prepare beforehand for any eventuality. So you've got a little nest tucked on the side financially. Hey there. Relationships, prepare. Before I talked about harnessing networks and leveraging relationships. Prepare for next. So let's say you go to a conference, so you're invited to an event. You're not just there to sit there and look at the event or, you know, have the little drinks and the snacks that they bring around. You're there to network. And you may think, well, for what? For what? We're here for this purpose. Well, because whoever organized that event, whoever brought you together, was actually thinking of a way to bring all the people with similar interests, similar values, similar visions under one roof. There is power. And actually, in one of my books, which book? 32 Steps, Career Success and a Life of Significance. I talked about, you know, how your network and the list of people that you have in your network is your net worth, is your power. Somebody wanted to see somebody very influential in my country once. And they were also from my country, but they're in the diaspora for a very long time and was coming back into the market and wanted to establish themselves as an entrepreneur and asked if I had access to this person who was like the person known in entrepreneurship and business in my country. And I said, yeah, I do have access, you know, so I'll introduce you. And he said, you're really powerful. I said, oh, come on. No, he said, really, you're powerful. The fact that you can call somebody and ask, you know, a favor that they see me, and this person who's very powerful, very out of reach would say yes, that means you are powerful. And I hadn't thought about it before. Binti Sayuni, hi. Frank, welcome. I hadn't thought about this before. But truly, power isn't always, I'm in a position of power, of a lot of money and everything, although, you know, that could also bring that on, or God gives you the power. But power is also what kind of clout, what kind of leverage do you have with people? What kind of relationship do you have with people that you can say, hey, on short notice, can I see you? Hey, can you go through this thing? Hey, I was wondering, if you find that you can reach people which are otherwise unreachable, that you have established a relationship with people, and of course you can return the favor, that is power. Because there's some people, no matter how much you pay, you're not going to access certain people. I will not access the president of the United States because I have a lot of money, simply because I have a lot of money, or simply because I really, really want to. But somebody in my network, and I actually am grateful to God, I do have people in my network, could make that happen if I wanted that to happen. That is power, that you have a network that can open doors for you. And so one of the ways of preparing beforehand for what is next, so that you can really harness the power of next, is being able to anticipate what is coming, being able to make the most of your network, making the most of your relationships, saving money, investing, money, managing your time well, preparing your documents. I mean, I should be able to right now, if right now I told you, listen, my email is info@purposeandexcellence.africa, which it is. If I were to tell you right now, everybody here, real quick, send me your CVs. There's an opportunity I want to connect you with. Would you all feel comfortable to send me your CV? Or would you say, I don't have one, I have an old one, please, Or if I said, there is this opportunity for business, can you send me a company profile? Or do you have a site? Can you just send me the link real quick? I'll forward it on WhatsApp to somebody who wants to connect with you and what you do. Do you have a website? Do you have a company profile? Is it relevant? And so part of preparing for next is like this. My documents are ready. My skills, I've honed my skills. I've taken certain courses. I've updated. If the last time you went to school was 15 years ago, I might be talking to Modesta right now. Then surely you must do something in between to up your skills, or to even keep your old skills, fresh, which is why as advocates, we have to go for refresher courses every year so that our licenses are renewed to make sure that you're still relevant in your marketplace. Tuli, welcome. And then focus on your vision, objectives, agenda, goals. Listen. I already told you that next is an opportunity, right? Next, whether anticipated or not, is a brilliant opportunity. Who is this? Hi, Joy, welcome. It's a brilliant opportunity. Next allows you to breathe in case you were just in the roller coaster of what you're doing now. Next allows you to say, you know what? Maybe I didn't negotiate the contract I was on right now very well. So this next one with this next client, all of the mistakes from this one, I have learned them. I will do this well because I had to pay more than I really should have. And so I made no profit in this contract. Or it could be, sorry, there's a flyer running around me. Or it could be that, your next is a job and you're thinking, I need to have greater clarity than I did at my last job. I don't want to jump into things and then I find some environments that are not, as I anticipated. And so all those questions that I didn't ask before, I'm going to ask now. And everything that sounds really wishy-washy, I'm going to ask to be put in black and white. I want it on the dotted line and I want someone to sign on it. The beauty of next is you get to start over, so to speak. Whether it is literally, you're moving to another organization, another client, another business, or you're just pivoting where you are, or there's a change in your life and you're managing the transition. You can see it all as next and understand you're in greater control than you think. But now, as you are moving on to the next, please focus on what it is you want to do. So I have somebody, and she was here a little while ago, and she's actually going to start the master plan class next week. She was in a situation where she said, the environment I am in and the people I am in, honestly, are not helping me. They already have certain stereotypes, certain mindsets. They're not giving me opportunity. Just somebody else yesterday, I had a conversation with another complimentary strategy call. By the way, guys, take advantage of these strategy calls. You don't have to sign up to any of my services or take any of my products, but it might actually just help you on your next path. Anyway, moving on. And she said, but our people. But Africans. I had this idea and people weren't really moved. And some people just told me to just write a proposal, whatever, and nothing came of it. I want you to listen to me very well. And one of the things she actually said yesterday, do you know, we've been observing you for years. No, Gabi. No, you cannot send me your CV for assessing, evaluating, unless you're actually taking up one of my services. I am not doing that anymore. And so, but you can sign up to my CV review and professional CV writing services. So please send me an email on info@purposeandexcellence.africa, and I'll let you know how we can go about that. But it does come at a fee. So please do. Look at how I slipped that one in. Yes, people, I am a business man. Moving on. And so she was saying, we've been following you for years. And we thought you were full of yourself. And we thought, and I actually didn't catch that, and I didn't continue with that. I said, yeah, people have many opinions. But what is key is what I'm saying to you guys right now. Number 7, focus on your vision. Focus on your objectives. Focus on your goals. Focus on your agenda. People will say, or they will not say. People will think, or they will not think. People will do, or they will not do. But listen, nobody can want your goals to be met like you. Nobody can want your success like you. And so if you're in an environment where you feel like people are second guessing me, people are not supporting me, you have to look at this vision that is tugging at your heart. How do I give expression to it? Am I switching environment? Next. Or am I looking for ways to manage myself and manage those around me such that I can be so invested? And I say this to entrepreneurs many times. Make sure that when you start out, you can control 70% of what it is you do, or people can get you going left, right, and center, people or circumstances. And so you do what you can do well, and people either will catch on, and you know how it is that you start out sweating and then doing this in the market, and people are like, oh my goodness, you've been doing this for years, you're just so amazing, and I want to be like you, I want to do like you, can I partner, can I whatever. Don't be like, oh yeah, you're coming around now, like now you see, now you think this is of value, now that I'm on Forbes, maybe that's one of my dreams, now that I'm doing all this great thing, oh now you want a piece of me and you wouldn't even speak to me before. Be gracious, focus on your vision, focus on your objectives, on your goals, on your agenda. If you do not have a vision, if you have no objectives, if you have no goals, if you have no agenda, you cannot really harness the power of next. You won't know what to do with next. Next will show up and you would have missed the opportunity to make the most of it. And so do not allow people, guys, make sure you have a vision, that you have certain objectives for why you want to do what you want to do, that you have set goals that are very specific and measurable, and you can do them within a certain amount of time and be able to execute them with excellence. And that you have an agenda. Whenever you show up in any context, I'm here, I have an agenda in doing these lives with you. You get to be part of, I don't know, your old high school thing. What is your agenda? You get invited to speak somewhere on a panel or on the news or whatever. What is your agenda? And I don't mean a manipulative, scheming agenda. I just mean, what is your why? Why are you there? What do you want to achieve out of it? Oh, I don't know. They just call me. I just want to hear what they have to say. Listen, everybody knows what they want. I mean, usually corporate, when they look for you, they know what they want from you. You should know what you want from them. And you should make sure when you leave with your agenda also met. You leave with your objectives met. You leave with some of your goals moved up a little further. So focus on that. People say or won't say, that's neither here nor there. There are times, honestly, we need to mature. Sometimes we're too sensitive and touchy. She said, he said, she looked at me, this is what I resolved to do. And I know it sounds crazy because I have always been a very feisty personality and it hasn't worked well. I want justice. I want things to be black and white. I don't want in Swahili we say kupindisha vitu, and that hasn't worked well. I remember some of my friends would say, and one of them has passed away. He said, Modesta, how you kuchukuliana na watu? That you need to give people a little bit more grace. You need to be able to ebb and flow and dance with people. There's some things I just won't dance with. But this is what I've resolved. I will pretend I do not see your shenanigans. I do not see your scheming. I do not see your sabotage. As long as it is not affecting my work and it's not affecting the effectiveness of the team. If you do not like me, if you do not come and tell me you don't like me, I will pretend we are great. I will work with you effectively. I will smile. I will assist you. I will promote you. I will refer you. I will recommend you. I will assist you. Sometimes we get too touchy and we're unable to harness the power of next. So focus, focus, focus. This is my colleague. She or he is acting up, but I need my colleague in order for the team to be able to move things. Then get over yourself. Learn how to work with people. Learn leadership. Learn interpersonal relationships. Learn what it takes to get them to be on your team and to do so effectively. It could be circumstances. Oh, this has happened. I wasn't promoted, or things have changed, and all of a sudden we have additional work. Well, learn what it takes. Change your attitude and look at, okay, this looks like our next project to me. So what does it take for me to be able to do things well? Remember why you are doing what you are doing and commit to being effective. Commit to reaching your goals. Commit to the impact and the influence and the output that you want to have. This is how you will harness next. And so not every upheaval is for you to up and leave. Not every relationship is for you to break, although I would highly recommend where you see that you do not have the same values, especially values. So I've got this acting up here, but maybe it's fine. I don't know what's happened. Can you still see me on Facebook? Where you do not have the same values, where people, when you go to them for advice or when you're having conversations, it's about indulging your flesh. I call it indulging your flesh. Like she said and he said, they really treated you bad. Did you see the way they looked at you? Or I don't believe this is being said. If you are around people, even if they're older than you, even if you look up to them and they've done great things, you need to remove yourself from those places. You cannot take sides. You cannot hold grudges. You cannot badmouth people. You cannot scheme about revenge. You cannot get, excited and happy when somebody that did you wrong is falling apart. No, you cover them. You're so focused. You need to be so focused on who you are and what it is you're doing and where you're going that it really doesn't matter to you what people are saying. It really doesn't matter to you that they're scheming, that they have ulterior motives. What are your motives? What is your agenda? What is your goal? What are your objectives? Stick to them and prepare your next. I cannot tell you how many times the very people that have spoken ill, that have done ill, that even tried to recruit other people to see me in a different light, came later and recommended people to me, would look for me, tell me they're praying for me, would speak highly of me, would tell people, if you're going to a certain place or you're interested in a certain thing, we would recommend Modesta. I learned the hard way from burning bridges when people were acting up. Right now, I am going to ignore what my flesh is saying, what my emotions are saying, what my mind is going about. And I'm going to ask myself, why am I here? Why am I in this business environment in the first place? Why did I take this job? Why am I working with this client? I've actually walked away from clients. I recently did as well, just last week. I walked away from a client. Thank you, but no thank you. But I had walked away very well. I had done a whole lot more than they were expecting from me. And I walked away in such a way that we say, Kwaro, I was just pure and clean in my heart, but I moved on. There's also opportunity to move on. But when you're in a situation and things are hot, ask yourself, why am I even here? Why did I sign up for this? I feel like I'm talking to married people. Why did I sign up? And remind yourself why you signed up and focus on meeting your objectives. Focus on finishing and finishing well. And I already spoke about being selective, about the people that you surround yourself with. So I have, by God's grace, done some cleaning up relationships, cleaning up pastimes, cleaning up influencers, cleaning up all kinds of areas of my life that were not leading me to where I want to go. When people, real talk, Kim, this pastor says, when people show you their true colors, believe them. If not once, not twice, not 5 times, a person has been betraying you, has said they will do one thing and they're not doing it, seems to be sabotaging what you're doing, or whatever. Believe that that is who they are. They're not interested in changing. Or if there's an issue and you've addressed it and this person doesn't even want to come clean about it. This person will look for excuses. Well, you can't go very far with them. You will have to part ways. It's not comfortable, huh? Guys, don't think because I'm sitting here on this live and I'm a coach or whatever it is that it hurts you. It hurts to part ways. It hurts to leave an organization, to leave people, to leave projects, to leave pursuits that you had with people. Because you see, we're not thinking the same. We don't share values. We don't share work ethic. We're not going in the same direction. We can't even stay true to each other. We're smiling in each other's faces. We're backbiting each other, in the back. Then no, you move on. This is the last thing that I say, and this is the most important. Somebody just signed up, but I'm seeing, I don't even know what to do with your name. I think it's a consultant or consultancy, so you have your entire company's name on that. Okay, I can't pronounce that. Party. This is the last point that I want to say to you today. The way you can harness the power of next. Yes, you can prepare right now. Yes, you can look at your support system. Yes, you can look at, your power list of who you can call on to for next. Yes, you can have, your pot put on the side that you're saving and you're investing for next. Yes, you can, be in your best behavior, that you mature, you grow yourself, you get over petty things, that you can give people grace, that you do not assume what's on people's minds, what they're thinking about you, what they're not thinking about you, because sometimes people aren't even thinking about you at all. I learned the hard way. There are times I tried to read cues in people, and I thought they were thinking this, they're saying this, they wanted this, they didn't want that. It wasn't even like that at all. I wasn't even on their mind. They weren't even scheming anything about anything. And so I addressed a thing that wasn't even there. So you know what? You can't control other people, what they think or do, but you are very much in control, 100% in control of how you respond. This will make or break your next. The thoughts that you have, whether you think I'm incapable, whether you think they think I'm incapable, whether you think I'm not accepted, and they know that they're rejecting me. I mean, there are times when I had this complimentary call with somebody this week, I said, you know what? It could well be because she is a young person in a business environment, in an office environment that has a lot older people. Maybe they're thinking, oh, you little millennials, a bunch of you come and go all the time. For all we know, you're not really committed to this. For all we know, you're just experimenting, trying this thing out to see if it works out. If it doesn't work out, you leave. And so maybe it isn't anything, maybe it's not a gender thing. Maybe it's not racial. Maybe they're not profiling her in that way and saying, no, we're going to close doors to her. Maybe they have been bitten too many times. Maybe they're jaded by all these young people coming in and are wondering whether to really share, company procedures and secrets with you or not, because chances are you're probably going to go away and somebody else will have to come in and we have to train them all over again. And so it is not your business what people think and what people are saying and what people are doing, but what is the business is how you respond to it. And so if you're getting constructive feedback and it's relevant and you can really see that this is an area you can work on, of course you work on. You don't say, I don't care what people say and do, but that's just the idea, I just move on. No, you take that feedback graciously. You thank people. You don't bite them when they give you feedback because they won't give you feedback next time. And then you fall flat on your face and you'll say, wasn't anyone around me who could speak into my life, who could have, warned me beforehand? Well, they tried and you bit them on the behind, and so they never came back. So take the feedback graciously. But the most important thing is you. What you have running here. You can do all the courses and pass them. You can set up a business. You can do everything. You can go for those interviews and do it. But if you do not believe that you are ready for next, that you are made for next, that you have the competencies, the knowledge, the skills, the attitude, the networks, the experience, that you are the right person, the right place, going at what you want to go at, you will compromise your next. And so above all else, this is what you do. If you think of anything that is negative, that is putting yourself down, that is comparing yourself with somebody else, you need to open your mouth. As soon as that thought comes up, you open your mouth, you say, that is not true. I am the right person at the right place at the right time doing the right thing, and I will succeed at this thing. And you have to keep opening your mouth every single time. A thought that is defeatist, a thought that is destructive, a thought that is demeaning comes up in your mind. If you do not win this battle first, no matter all the preparation you have done, you will not be able to stand. Remember this and remember this good, because Instagram is about to go, and so I'm ending today's weekend live. Remember that what you say to yourself, you believe more than what anybody else says to you. And so whenever you start second guessing yourself and disqualifying yourself, you need to open your mouth and say something different. I open up my mouth. Listen, this is what I say. I know who I am. I'm a child of the Most High God. I'm righteous. I'm the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. I am who says I am. I am loved, accepted, a masterpiece, unique, without rival. I have the mind of Christ. I'm more than a conqueror. I'm a king. I'm a priest. I'm a leader. I'm above. I am a lender and never a borrower. I speak things into my life, even when I don't feel like it, even if I am crying, even if I've had the worst setback, even if my count is reading 0, it doesn't matter. You can position yourself however you like in the marketplace, but if you do not believe in yourself, if you allow yourself to talk negativity to yourself or allow other people to do that, you will not go far. So you protect your mind, you protect your heart, and you keep speaking the truth of who you are and what you can do next, and then every other transition and level that comes up in life. Thank you so very much for this. I wanted to end with a crescendo also because I'm running out of time. My name is Modesta Mahika Mukuni. This is Purpose and Excellence. Please do subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and go to purposeandexcellence.africa for all kinds of resources that will help you. Success strategies to make you the difference in your sphere of influence. Have an amazing weekend. Please do share this with other people. And should you want a complimentary strategy call with me, do look for me on info@purposeandexcellence.africa. Until next weekend, or until the week when I post things on the platforms, have an amazing weekend and speak truth to yourself to prepare you to harness the power of next. Bye for now. Ending.